You are listening to Offensive Lines with Marlon and Boyd. Small stakes NFL gambling for the average fan.
Welcome to Offensive Lines, the NFL Futures Edition. I'm Marlon.
I'm Boyd.
And I'm so excited to be gambling again.
I was gambling on the weekend, but didn't turn out so well.
On NFL or?
No, horses.
Oh, okay.
I'd won $100 a week before, and so I bet a little bit of it this weekend. Didn't win a damn thing. But
I haven't gambled on anything. I was out at the lake. I'm back. Ready to go. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to look at some division winners, some season over-under totals. We haven't decided exactly how much we're going to put down, but we're going to lay a few $5 bets. And, yeah. I'm really out of touch with recent news. I was computer-free, off the grid, so to speak, for a while, and I've been working since I came back, so... if I sound like a complete jackass.
That's no excuse.
Oh, fair enough. I should just
you got a cell phone, don't you? Come on.
Yeah, I was kind of off the grid by choice.
Yeah, no, I know.
But yeah, for
that's
example,
nice every once in a while.
Boyd just told me that Brady tweaked his knee a little or something earlier today, and I'm like, oh, news to me. So,
yeah, no AFC East bets tonight. They've closed down everything. Super Bowl is closed. AFC Conference champion is closed, and the AFC East is closed. So... that's where we stand with Brady tweaks a knee and fucking the whole gambling world screeches to a halt. I thought they'd have it back up. Like, I knew it closed earlier in the day when it happened. But I thought, because the reports are coming out that it's just a sprain and he's day to day. But I don't think the sports books trust Belichick.
No, yeah, the whole Patriots organization has been less than forthcoming with injury updates since Belichick got there. So I don't blame them, but I'm a little surprised too that they took that much off the board.
Well, they're involved in all of it.
Yeah.
Super Bowl, AFC outright. So
okay.
Tebow would lead him there anyway.
Oh, one thing I did read was he was a scintillating 5 of 12 for 40-odd yards and an interception in preseason.
Oh, that division's going to be a joke. Kevin Cobb's quarterbacking the Bills, Sanchez with the Jets. Tannehill with the Dolphins might not be bad.
Yeah. I really don't mind the Dolphins' chances, but... we'll get to it. Maybe not to win the division, but to be a credible football team.
Yeah. Oh, and just a reminder for people, Hard Knocks is on, and the episodes are available online. You just have to know where to look. I'm not going to tell you where to look, just in case.
that would make us complicit.
Just Google. It's your friend. And they're out there. And I watched episode 1. I haven't had a chance to watch episode 2 yet. It aired last night. But I love watching the Cincinnati Bengals on Hard Knocks. Well, I love Hard Knocks. It's fucking great. And Marvin Lewis has a personality, that dud from Miami last year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It was brutal. But the Bengals are good. James Harrison's a freak.
And he doesn't like Hard Knocks much.
No.
Or I think anybody. He's an angry man.
Yeah, I don't know, a good football player, but not much of a sense of humor.
No, I recall an interview with him a few years back where he just said, none of his family came to his football game, so his mission was to anyone whose parents was actually there, he wanted to actually hurt them. Have them taken off the field because they had parents.
So, yeah, He should have a good life after football.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure as soon as he retires, the rage issues will go away.
Yeah, he'll slide right back into normal society.
Okay,
we should probably get going because this probably take a few minutes.
Yeah. So the AFC East is out.
Yes.
The
I don't think I want to bet on that anyway, but
yeah, I might have tried to argue for taking a flyer on Miami, just because the price was right. But obviously, that's not worth discussing now.
Yeah, I wouldn't have went along with that anyway.
Fair enough.
Could have just burnt the $5.
The AFC West, there is no point in betting in this. The Broncos are utterly prohibitive favorites, and they should be.
Yes.
I mean, we could make 18 cents on $1.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
You know, if Manning goes down or something, you're risking $1 for very little payoff. There's no point in betting that division.
No. And I was surprised to see them have San Diego ahead of Kansas City.
That's my opinion, too. San Diego's brutal, but I'm going to get to that a little later.
Yeah.
In the North, Pittsburgh is the favorite, or at least when I printed my sheets.
Yeah, still the favorite.
Now, here, I really don't mind a bet on the aforementioned Bengals.
I would love to bet the Bengals here.
The price is pretty good at $2.95. They've quietly been winning for the past couple of years. I think that's something a lot of people forget about these Bengals. They're getting into the playoffs.
Yeah, they just have to win a playoff game, but I don't care. That's not our concern here. Their defense is really good. They're pretty thin at receiver. And, I wish I could remember the kid's name. They've got a rookie running back that's like 5'6". But he is fantastic. Or he looked fantastic. Yes. Giovanni something.
Yeah.
Why don't I write shit down? I should actually come prepared one podcast, and then I might not bring up people that I can't remember their names. And you'd think with as much as I look at NFL websites every day that I could remember the kid's name.
Giovanni Bernard.
He looked fantastic.
He is my big target for rookie running backs in fantasy. That's why the name came so easily to me.
You were studying on the
yeah,
trip.
Yeah. I took a magazine. They still exist, sort of, and just some printouts and did a little work, at least trying to come up with a plan for the utter disaster my team will be this year. Building for next year already.
Yeah, just like the Chargers.
They're building for, I don't know, 2020 if they're lucky.
Yeah,
get all their draft picks. But yeah, I like Cincinnati here. Baltimore, it's tough to just flat out count them out, but I think they've lost too much.
Well, if you look through
there aren't
many
back-to-back Super Bowl guys. Yeah, Torrey Smith. I mean, he's a Vincent Jackson kind of guy. He's not a possession receiver, and you need those to make.
And Jacoby Jones. That's who their other receivers. They're both just deep guys.
Yeah,
speed guys.
And you need those first downs to get those guys open. I mean, it's tough to count them out. They're Super Bowl champs. They're well coached. There's some talent there, but I think they lost way too much combined with the Super Bowl hangover.
And Pitta's injury out for the year. They have no tight end.
No, Dixon, I think,
and
is the guy they're putting in there.
They signed Brandon Stokely.
Oh, really?
Yeah, last week.
Okay, I missed that.
For receiver depth. He's like mid-30s white guy. They're grasping. Their defense might still be okay. They got Doomerville from the Broncos. And they still have Nata at nose tackle. But they lost a couple of linebackers, lost Ed Reed, lost Ray Lewis.
Yeah, they've lost a lot of pieces. I don't completely count them out, but I don't think they have enough this year. And I think Pittsburgh, which has been on a slow, inevitable cycle of decay, because they're Pittsburgh, they're always overbet.
When you look at their, I believe it's them, their receiving roster is like the most experience they have out of receiver position is third year. Everybody else is...
Well, there's Emmanuel Sanders. I think he's been around longer than that, but maybe not.
Oh, man, yeah, I must be thinking of another team. Jesus Christ, I got to write stuff down. Making a fool of myself. Anyway, they have no experience really at receiver. They still have Heath Miller at tight end and the aforementioned Sanders. I don't even know who the running back's going to be.
It's going to be their rookie, Le'Veon Bell.
He hasn't played in preseason yet.
Well, he put up like 30, average 29 carries a game in college. I don't think there's much to teach him except maybe blitz pickup, and that's another factor. I'm not impressed by their O-line at all. It hasn't been good for years. And at some point, Roethlisberger's a tough son of a bitch, but he's going to go down for the count at some point. I don't like Pittsburgh's chances at all. I think Baltimore has a better chance this year in that division.
Oh, I think Cincinnati wins it by a game or two.
As long as they don't. One thing they have done is they've shit the bed in those games against Baltimore and Pittsburgh. But, I think maybe they're ready to step up. It's a good football team in Cincinnati.
Yes.
So let's book that one.
Okay. It shall be booked. $5 pays $14.80.
I think we're getting a good price.
Yes.
On that.
Yeah, that was one of the ones I looked at and right away went, yes. I can't believe they're all that shows you how much up in the air it is. They're all basically underdogs.
Yeah, and you asked why is Pittsburgh the favorite? It's because Pittsburgh attracts more money than any other team, right?
Yeah, I keep thinking sometimes I forget that this isn't based on who they think will win. It's based on keeping the money even.
Yeah.
So.
No, I really like that bet. And then we have the AFC South outright. I
don't want to bet that.
No, the Colts at 318 isn't a terrible price, but I don't like it either. I went back and forth. At first I thought, it's a good number. And then when I found myself taking them on the under or over numbers, I thought, well, what the hell are you thinking?
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know. Indianapolis isn't going to win that division. Houston will go 6-0 again, I believe,
or maybe 5-1. I think part of it was I'm a really big fan of Luck.
Yeah, they might be able to get Houston in Indianapolis like they did last year, but
yeah, but also when I looked closer at Luck too, he was a bit lucky last year as well. He led all quarterbacks by a wide margin in probable interceptions that were just dropped by the defense. He was putting a lot of balls up there into the wrong hands, and guys just couldn't squeeze him. So, he had a bit of luck. I still think he's great, and it's going to be great for a long time. But I think the team, maybe without the Chuck Strong thing too, takes a step backwards.
Well, I had them. We'll get to that in a bit.
And I think losing Arians as their coordinator will help this team. But, it will probably take an adjustment. I don't like seeing a a quarterback switching offensive coordinators after one season, even one as good as Luck.
Yeah, he probably won't miss much. They probably won't change the offense that much for him. Because I'm guessing
Arians hated running backs. I think there's going to be a lot more running the ball, which isn't a bad thing in my opinion. Fewer deep balls, a lot more of a controlled passing game. And a lot of that, it even took Peyton Manning almost 2 years to get comfortable at the speed of the game to read that, short and intermediate passing game.
Yeah, and part of the reason he had the interceptions too last year, or drops, was they've got behind in a bunch of games, and he had to put it up 40 times for them to have a chance to win. So if they can get a little more balance, they should be all right. Who see, and I'm doing it again. Fuck. I take no notes. I read this stuff and it's out of my brain now. Who got Mendenhall?
Oh.
It was somebody decent. Like a decent team. I got notes on some guys, but I didn't write down where he went. Oh, no, they got Ahmad Bradshaw.
Yeah, they got Ahmad Bradshaw, who I like quite a bit. I mean, he's going to miss games with the foot. He's never going to practice, but that's generally fine for running backs if you trust them to know their blocking roles.
And, well, we'll get to that later, too. I have another note there that might help.
And they have Ballard, who isn't bad. It's if they decide to run the ball more, I think they've got people to do that effectively.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on to the NFC. The NFC East. I didn't see anything.
You don't want to go Dallas again, like we did last year?
Yeah. Such a stupid bet, but
I don't think it's stupid this year either. One of these years they're going to put it together. There's talent all over that roster. I don't know what they lack. I honestly don't. I don't know where the consistency, why it doesn't come into play ever.
No. On either side of the ball.
Wade Phillips needs to come back and run that defense, and they'd win that division easy instead of being in Houston.
I tend to agree. We're both fans of DeMarcus Ware. His numbers have plummeted without Phillips there.
Yeah, scheme.
He doesn't seem to know what he's doing, and he's not effective doing it, as far as I can tell. Now, admittedly, we're not studying hours of game tape, but when you've got a talent like that,
for yourself.
I would play to the. I would totally play to the strengths of an exceptional player like Ware.
Yeah, but if you don't have anybody else that requires a double team, he's getting the double team or triple team. So,
True.
Ratliff needs to have a decent year for them. Their secondary is strong. They've got great talent on the offensive side of the ball. I like Romo. I know lots of people don't. I think he's a pretty good quarterback. How many quarterbacks don't make the dumb throw? Like 2 in the whole league?
Yeah, he does it. He has impeccable timing to do it at the most disastrous time. That's not really a knock on him. It's just, yeah, everyone makes that ridiculous throw. He seems to do
He's
it.
Brett Favre without the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He's Brett Favre without a Super Bowl win. That's what he is.
I like Romo too, by the way.
We may come back and revisit this because
we might have to revisit. The price is really good.
The only thing is, if the Giants go every other year where they're good, this should be a year where they're good.
Yeah, I think Washington steps back.
Well, it all depends on Griffin third.
Well, they can't expose him like they did last year. They can't.
Oh, Shanahan will. He doesn't care. These coaches don't care. You got to win or you get fired. That's the dirty little secret in the NFL. They don't care. That's how
it is,
running
except
backs get used up.
In this case, RG3 is worth a lot more to this franchise than the shenanigans.
Yeah, but it's not to Shanahan.
Well, he'll get the hook. If Griffin starts taking those big open field hits like he did.
Christ, they started him in the playoffs last year for no apparent reason.
Well, and kept him in too after the hit where he was pretty much dragging his leg behind him. It was terrible.
So Shanahan will play him if he's walking without a limp, he's playing. So
yeah, that's probable. But I mean, with all this read option and stuff, I don't think they're going to do that as much unless, as you say, their hand is forced because they're protecting themselves. And Alfred Morris, I'm a big fan of the guy, his personality, the whole way he's handling this. But without those, he's not going to run that much. He's not going to run like he did last year if they use a different offensive scheme.
They won't. They can't. That's the only scheme he knows. They're not going to change him. You drafted him for that reason. Why would you change him now?
They always do. It's going to be interesting this year to see the defensive reaction to the zone read trend. See if it gets shut down as quickly as the Wildcat was. Well,
I printed an article out from ESPN talking to a D-core. I haven't read it yet, but they're basically saying how to stop it.
Well, yeah, there was a good one. Grantland ran it too. It was through, I think, Intelligent Football. Sorry if I'm not getting your credit right. But it used film and showed how colleges have been doing it for years to adjust to it. It was a really good, really technical article too. But
you need the talent to be able to stop it.
Oh yeah, that's
the other
true.
thing.
Yeah, you really need coachable guys who make the right decision at least 70% of the time.
Because you're going to give up the big play in that offense. Like facing that offense, you're going to give up at least one a game on a run where you misread.
Yeah.
Like if Atlanta could have read that last year, they would have beat San Francisco. They couldn't read it. They scored 3 touchdowns to the same spot on the right side of the O-line. Was the difference in the game.
Yeah.
Like you could have drove a semi through that hole three times.
Atlanta looked better than Green Bay did against it.
Well, Green Bay's defense is awful.
Yeah.
It didn't improve. But they're still favored all over the place. It's fuck.
Well, let's see how much money we spend elsewhere. We'll consider coming back for a Dallas bet, because I know we didn't win it.
It was close last year, though.
I still don't think that was a really dumb bet, because we got a gain at a good price last year. And our price is better this year.
Yeah, getting a better price on Dallas than we got on Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah.
And
I'm a lot more confident in Cincinnati. I mean,
but this division is wide open.
Yeah.
That division is wide open. Washington's got questions. Giants has questions.
When was the last time you saw a runaway winner in that division?
Oh, Jesus. The Giants have the most talent.
When the Giants win the Super Bowl, they don't get into the playoffs without the Week 17 game, I believe, both times.
Yeah. And they played all the games on the road. Well, no, the second one, they played the first one at home. They beat Atlanta at home, but
yeah, I mean, so that's how tight.
So hey, I got something right. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going. We're spending way too much time on the division.
NFC West.
There's nothing to bet here.
No, I don't want to pin my tail to either the Niners or the Seahawks.
It's going to come down to injuries. I think Harvin getting hurt in Seattle swings that division.
Yeah, it easily could.
Because he was one of their big acquisitions in the offseason, and he's out. He could be out for the year with that hip that he had surgery on.
Well, and I think he is out. for the year, pretty much. I mean,
Well, they
at
haven't
least
said
on the
it yet.
level of Harvin generally playing. I don't see him doing that in an 80% hip. You know, I think he's functionally gone, whether he suits up for a little bit either, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree.
He's just too fluid. A hip, that's bad news. NFC North.
Nothing there either.
No.
I see Green Bay running away with it, but I think they have Chicago as the next favorite. I think it's Detroit will finish second in that division. I don't think they win. I don't think they have a shot at winning it, but I think Green Bay or Detroit's better than Chicago.
It's close. You know, I'm not going to make a big argument. I think it's really close between those two teams. And yeah, Green Bay, as flawed as I think they are, as in terms of a Super Bowl pick, I still think they're head and shoulders above either the Bears or the Lions at this stage.
Yeah. If the Lions defense steps up this year, they should make, well, they're weak in receiver too. Jesus. How can Green Bay have all these receivers and the Bears and the Lions have nothing? Or the Vikings?
I don't think, I think of Reggie Bush. I think that's a great pickup for Detroit. But I think of him as a receiver, the same sort of way I think of Sproles as a receiver.
Well, hopefully.
He becomes almost their slot guy, their dump-off guy. So they can't just triple team Megatron. You know, because they'll throw the Bush underneath. Yeah, I mean...
They have Nate Burleson still.
Yeah, a fifth receiver, not a bad guy, but...
He's functional, but he's not number...
Yeah.
He's number 2.
Oh, I know. And when I say fifth, I wasn't talking about their depth chart. I was talking about, you know, where I'd slot him.
Yeah, no, I know. But I
like him, too.
But I like that they have LaShore and Bush. That's going to give them some options.
Yeah.
Because like you said, they can line Bush up almost like a Marshall Faulk and still have LaShore back there as a running threat. Yeah. So that you can actually do play action and get it to work and free up some guys.
Yeah, that's kind of my opinion. I think Bush was a really good fit there as long as he hasn't lost a step. You know, he is getting up there now, but...
Yeah, but he hasn't had the carries. That shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah,
he doesn't have the carries.
And he's so shifty, too. I mean, the hits aren't devastating like they are on a north-south power runner.
Yeah.
For the most part. All right, and finishing up our division winners, we've got the NFC South. I kind of like the Saints here.
No.
No.
Not at all. I was going to throw a little curveball at you.
Box.
And go to NFC conference outright.
Oh, okay.
Atlanta.
So we don't want to go... Really?
Well, I would rather take Atlanta conference champions because of the price. They're plus 800. They're loaded. They haven't lost anything from last year. And they were a couple of plays away from going to the Super Bowl last year.
The one thing that they remind me of is those Chargers teams that came close and then just finally ran into a wall of frustration when they couldn't win the conference.
No, they've got too much talent. Good quarterback, good receiving,
great receiving, actually.
Great receiving. I think, isn't that where Steven Jackson went? Or is he in Green Bay? They got a good running back to replace what's his name that used to be with the Chargers?
Turner.
Yeah.
Turner.
So let me look it up here. They got a decent running back in the offseason. Yeah, Steven Jackson. He's not going to hurt.
No.
And if you look at New Orleans' defense, there's still nothing there.
Yeah.
I think they roll through this division because Carolina and Tampa are nothing. They only have to beat New Orleans once to win the division. And I don't think Sean Payton's going to make that big a difference in that team defensively. They've got Rob Ryan. Here's the other factor. You know how good that defense was in Dallas with Rob Ryan coaching it? He's now the Saints coordinator.
That's an outstanding point. God, I hate that pseudo.
That plus 800 to win the conference. I think Atlanta's better than Green Bay. They've got Seattle and San Francisco 1 and 2. Not in that order. San Francisco, Seattle. Then Green Bay. Then the Falcons plus 800.
You know what? You talked me into it.
The price is right.
Yeah, no, the price is right, and I'd forgotten that Rob Ryan thing, which, yeah.
And the Niners have injuries at wideout. They're playing Davis, they're lining him up at wideout sometimes now. And Seattle's got they both have second-year quarterbacks running them, too.
Yeah,
how many times have we
second-year
seen
quarterbacks who
shit the bed?
Thrived on mobility as well, so...
And that shit the bed the second year. And I'm not saying they're going to be awful, but it's not going to be as easy for these guys to put up points. And Seattle didn't put up points last year. It was the defense that won them games. Wilson made the plays when he absolutely had to, but it's not like he was lighting it up. Kaepernick did way more than Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
It's like when...
It's hard to read Russell Wilson's, though, because they did do a great job of easing him into more of a passing role.
Yeah, but they didn't upgrade their receiver with Harvin out. They're the same team.
Yeah. Yeah, Golden Tate still sounds like a pet dog to me.
Well, and Atlanta won't have any trouble scoring inside the 5 with Steven Jackson. And they still got Jacquizz
Rodgers, yeah. I was just thinking about that. No. At that price, let's do it. Let's take a flyer.
$5 pays 45. That was my one little curveball I had for the...
No, that was really good, and you put together a nice argument on that, Boyd. Let's hope we cash it.
Well, the Rob Ryan fucking D coordinator in New Orleans.
How that guy works.
I just seen that.
Do they hire him by his headshots? He looks like a tough defensive.
No, I think it's his belly. I think the weight that Rex lost, he just shipped it over to Rob. Because Rob is he looks like a beached whale. It's brutal, dude. And Rex has lost close to 100 pounds.
Hey, and I will say this for Rex. He was a really good defensive coordinator. I don't think that Rob Ryan has proved a fucking thing.
No.
Anywhere, ever.
No, he you know what? He made his name by having an okay defense on a shitty team in Oakland.
Yep.
So the defense looked good because the team was so bad. The defense looked okay.
Well, yeah, their opponents could generally go bread and butter by the second half and just hang on to their lead, right? They weren't faced with anything innovative. It was just, if we just eat off 4 minutes of drive, this thing's in the books.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you didn't have to worry about their offense.
Yeah.
So, all right. That's our 2 bets for the conference, or the division titles and conference titles.
With a tentative on Dallas.
Yes.
Okay, going to the over-unders. We're not going to go through them team by team, to the relief of, I'm sure, everyone.
Yeah.
I've just got a few that I kind of like. I don't mind. Let's just start. It's probably not available right now, but it might come up again. I kind of like the Dolphins over their 8.
Let me see. What did I have? I had them as under. And that could mean 8. Let me go have a look at. I went through the schedules and the rosters. The Dolphins have absolutely 0. That's the team that had the 3-year receivers. Like they have nothing.
Okay. Well, they got a Heartline, Wallace.
Oh no, that wasn't it either.
Yeah.
Who the fuck am I thinking of?
I don't know, but that's strike
Third
2.
team. Third. Fuck. Yeah, Wallace. And Heartline.
Who, I'm not a Wallace fan. I am a Heartline fan. But...
Oh, and they have Dustin Keller, too, at tight end from the Jets.
Yeah, he does some boneheaded things and he'll disappear for games, but he's a pretty good tight end. He's a good athlete.
But they have no running back that I know of. I don't even think I've ever heard of these guys. Daniel Thomas, Marcus Thigpen, Evan Rodriguez, Lamar Miller, Jones Gray, and Mike Gillisley.
Yeah, okay, that's not striking fear in the hearts of anybody.
So, how much room are the receivers going to have? O-line's okay.
The O-line's okay. Their defense is pretty good.
It's average. It's a little overhyped, I think, for what they've accomplished.
I mean, I was kind of thinking that they'll take at least 3 out of 4 between Jets and Buffalo.
Yeah.
Their schedule didn't look particularly brutal to me. I can't recall it offhand.
Well, here it is. At Cleveland, at Indy. So I'll give them Cleveland. Then they play Atlanta at home, at New Orleans, against the Ravens, Buffalo, at New England, Cincinnati, Tampa, I'll give them, San Diego, I'll give them, Carolina should be a win, Jets again, but then Pittsburgh, New England, Buffalo, New York. They'll be right around the number.
Okay.
I don't know how they get over. Because when you figure in, okay, let's go Indy, I'll say they'll lose to Indy, Atlanta, New Orleans, Baltimore, New England twice. There's 6, Cincinnati 7, Pittsburgh 8. So they'd have to win.
Right on the number.
They could win one of those 8, but I don't think they're as talented as those teams. And they're at Indy, they're at New Orleans. They get Atlanta and Baltimore at home, but I think Atlanta's cruising this year.
Yeah, you're big on Atlanta, and you made a good case for that, which has changed a little things. Oh, okay. So,
and 3 of those games are on the road. They're at Pittsburgh, at New Orleans, and at Indy. So,
okay, yeah, that changes the Indy because I could easily see them beating Indy, but Indy at home is a different animal.
Yes. I just think the running game's the lack of a running game is gonna hurt them.
Yeah, that hadn't struck me, and I should have looked at that a little better with Bush heading out of town.
Yeah, not like they had the world's best ground game, but at least there was a threat. I guess we'll know after the season, like after a couple of weeks, if they found anybody to run the ball. But Tannehill is going to get killed if they don't.
Yeah, he'll look like Jay Cutler.
Yeah.
And they had a running back, but they just chose not to use him.
So I could see them on we can come back to it if we don't find anything.
Yeah,
but
it's not a terrible number, but yeah, you're right. It's
tough.
Right around there. It's a tricky number, yeah.
And the whole second year core, if we're using it on Wilson, and if that plays into our factor on the Niners and Seahawks, Tannehill's the same thing.
He's a different style, though.
True, but they struggle too in the second year. Passers.
Yeah, the sophomore jinx. I mean, I
Matt
don't know
Ryan
if that's a myth.
Matt Ryan had it. He's the same as Tannehill.
That's very true. They're pretty similar guys. Okay, well, we might come back to that. This one's off the board for sure by our own internal rules. But I'm just going to advise our listeners, bet the Chargers under 7.5. Holy Christ.
Yeah, they're not getting there.
I'm typically fairly negative on my team's chances, but this is realistic. I see them as a 3-13 club this year.
I didn't write down how many they'd get, but I had them under 7.5 as well.
By far. I think that's the best bet on the board, honestly, but we can't do it. And I don't want to do it because I still want to sit down every Sunday or Thursday or Monday or whatever the fuck and cheer for them. So I really don't want to bet the under, but listeners, if you do it, I certainly don't blame you. I think it's the best over-under.
Sunday, September 22nd, we have to meet up at Shanks.
Yeah, because I think
Titans,
you get vengeance on me.
Titans, baby.
Yeah, and it's in Tennessee this year.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be the one just muttering under my breath this year.
Yeah, that was me last year. You were watching the game. I was betting horses because I knew it was over.
Well, my third-string tight end put up 3 touchdowns on you.
Yeah, we couldn't stop a tight end in the flat.
And not a
over
good
the middle.
tight end. It was the same play each time, too.
I know.
As I recall.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, dickwad.
Hey, you started it.
I didn't start nothing. You said, I think you're going to get revenge. What the hell?
Well,
I didn't say nothing. All I said was we have to get together, and then you jump on me. What am I supposed to do?
Until you get revenge, I gotta, exult in last year's victory.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a lot for me to cheer about this year.
You'll probably win that one, too, because I don't think I have a whole lot to cheer about.
Yeah, I think you're better off than the Chargers.
Although we do have the bounty hunter back.
Who, Pollard?
No, we got Greg, the bounty hunter. Greg Williams.
Oh,
back as a defensive assistant. He's assisting Jerry Gray, D coordinator. One's going to be on the sidelines. One's going to be in the booth.
I wonder if when he goes to meetings now, they'll have to clear his speech with the lawyers.
No, just don't give him any envelopes. Can't put any cash.
Yeah.
Can we check your pocket for envelopes and Ziploc bags, please? No briefcase. All he can wear in is pants and a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Pants and a golf shirt. That's it. No socks. He can't have socks.
Maybe not. Maybe not even the shirt.
Sandals. Sandals.
Yeah, sandals and a pair of shorts.
No underwear.
Or just underwear.
So the pocket's shut.
Set of tidy whiteys.
Yeah, look like Walter White in the first episode of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
What do you have next?
Again, we probably can't bet it tonight, even if we're interested. Jets at 6.5. I am under.
Oh, I was under on that too.
I mean, if they pulled the whole East, they probably pulled the over-under totals as well.
No.
Okay, is it still at 6.5? Paying?
Yeah, they only closed the Patriots on that.
Okay, and it's paying $1.63. It's not a great price, but the Jets are abysmal.
Yeah, we're
and
never
I don't
gonna
see
get
how
big
that
odds on
turns
this.
around.
There's never big odds on the over/under.
No.
Or your $5 bet pays $8.15.
Are we pretty much in agreement that that's a train wreck?
Yes.
And 6.5, I saw that number and I just thought, wow,
Well, who'd we win on last year? The Chiefs. No, the Browns. We went under the Browns at 6.5 last year?
Yeah, I think it was 6.5
or 6.
Yeah, it was in there. It might even have been 5.5, and we still went under.
Yeah.
Which seems a little cruel, but hey.
I can't. There's the team. That's the team.
Oh, that doesn't have a receiver. Are you sure, man? You're sitting on 2 strikes.
I'm just checking now. Oh, they have Devon Bass, 6 years. That's it.
Who's, one of those kinds of players I wouldn't mind on my team, but he's not exciting the world.
He's not the number one, which is what he is there.
Well, yeah, and that's he's a number one, and he's an average to slightly above average slot receiver.
And Josh Gordon, he's their number one, but
and he's suspended a couple of games, isn't he?
I think so. And they have Jason Campbell and Brandon Whedon as their quarterbacks.
All right, so are we booking that Jets bet?
Yes.
Okay.
So $5 pays $8.15.
Now the Browns are at 6 again too. That was actually, that segued perfectly.
Yes, I'm all over that. All under that. We're actually getting a good price on that too. It's plus 105 for an under.
Oh,
which you don't usually see,
especially on Cleveland.
Yeah, at 6. Fuck.
We're getting a better price than the over.
Yeah, the over.
I can't figure that.
Well, I don't know what they see in Cleveland that's changed all that much. Unless Trent Richardson's their only hope. And they must just be over. Trent Richardson, when you really break down his numbers, was good, but not a great running back. He's a great running back on a shitty team.
Yeah. His numbers aren't going to produce a whole bunch of wins by himself. And that's what it is right now, at least on that side of the ball. Here's
their schedule. Miami, Baltimore, Minnesota, Cincinnati, Buffalo, Detroit, Green Bay, Kansas City, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. Jacksonville will probably be a win for them. At New England, Chicago, Jets, Pittsburgh. Where do you see 6? Who are they beating out of those games 6 times? Or 7 times?
Yeah, even if we score the close ones,
Even a push. Miami coin flip, Minnesota coin flip, that's 2. Buffalo they probably get is 3. Kansas City's a coin flip at 4. Jacksonville 5. And the Jets would be a coin flip to me. It would give them 6. If they win all of those, we push. Because I can't see them beating Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, or Baltimore.
When they play the Jets, we're going to be pulling for the tie.
Well, that'll be week 16, so we should have a pretty good idea.
Yeah, we'll still be pulling for a tie. The idea.
Yeah, they'll be at 5 on week 16.
Yeah.
They'll win every other coin flip game in the bunch.
Well, the Jets are 6.5, though, so we definitely want a Jets victory if that were the case. But the tie would be perfect. It could be a 0-0 tie between those two teams.
Fuck. I told you before we started I only had 7 teams over.
Yeah.
Their totals. And that doesn't mean all the teams are crap. It's just the teams that are good, I think they're too high. I like Denver. Fuck, 11.5. How are you giving them 11.5? Or 12 wins? I don't know if anybody's getting to 12 wins this year. I don't see any real. Atlanta's my favorite team to dominate like that.
Yeah.
Because Denver's going to Indy and New England this year. So.
Well, yeah, and as we discussed on a previous podcast as well, that strength of schedule, the way you looked at it, you were looking at the actual teams, but that strength of schedule number is bogus. And it's being
I don't look at that. I just look at who they're playing.
Well, yeah, they're saying Denver has the easiest, and I just sneer at that. It's like...
Yeah, it looks easiest now going on last year's numbers, but those numbers mean shit in the NFL.
And they've historically meant shit. We did a bit of a podcast just on that, so I'm sticking by that. But
are we booking the Jets or the Browns?
Yeah, let's book both those.
Okay, $5 bet pays $10.25. Who else you got?
Those were my points of discussion there. Who else do you have?
I didn't really have any. The Atlanta one was mine. I wouldn't mind going Atlanta in the over.
10?
Yeah. I like them. I had them. I went through
Well,
their
we're
schedule.
kind
I
of
had them
doubling
pegged
up
for
on
11.
Atlanta then, though.
No, we're not. That's not doubling up. We're picking them to win the conference, and the 11 wins doesn't mean they're going to win. New Orleans could have 12. But I'm just going through their schedule. I had them for 11 wins. And it was one of 7 that I had. I'm not like ranking like being overly optimistic on teams getting wins when I only have 7 out of 32 actually going over their numbers. So I'm not overestimating teams. Like I have New England under. I actually had the Saints over this year.
So
again.
did I.
But if we're going somebody in that division, I would rather go.
Well, yeah, we're not.
Atlanta.
I don't think we're going to see 2 10-game winners out of the South there.
Because I had them.
So we got to pick the Saints.
I had them going
or
under.
Or the Falcons.
Yeah, but I had them splitting with New Orleans. They've got St. Louis, Miami, New England, the Jets, Tampa Bay, Arizona, Carolina, Seattle, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, Buffalo, Green Bay, Washington, San Francisco, Carolina. So even if you gave them San Francisco, Green Bay, split with New Orleans and Seattle, that's 5. And they get New England at home.
Yeah.
That's where I had the 11 wins. And they get Seattle at home as well. Their toughest game on the road is at San Fran.
Okay, well, can you give me a recap on what we booked here? Or is that...
No, we've got Atlanta to win the conference. And we had
Cincy
to win the North. And then we booked the Jets and the Browns on the under. Is that right? Yes. Yeah. That's what we bet so far.
Okay, well...
I like Atlanta a lot.
Okay, well, we can take Atlanta and then maybe Dallas in the East.
Okay.
Then we've spent $30 on futures. I think that's what we spent last year.
Yes. No, I like that was... I'll tell you, okay, well, before we book Atlanta, I'll tell you who I had over. I had Atlanta, Cincinnati, Dallas, Colts, Saints, and I actually had the Titans over 6.5. But we can't bet that.
Yeah, we can't bet that.
No, but that was my 7.
Okay.
So I actually had Arizona over too.
Too much up in the air. I'm not entirely against it. I think our 2 best bets coming here are Dallas and Atlanta then.
Well, let's see.
I got nothing better than Atlanta. It's my only argument is the Saints.
What's Baltimore's under? They're plus 105
it's pretty
under.
Realistic, actually.
Yeah, but could you see him finishing at 8? Could you see him finishing 500 this year? That's kind of what I looked at. Was like a lot of these teams where it's a half game. I had them like right at the number, basically.
Yeah, and I prefer Atlanta to Baltimore.
Yes.
I prefer Atlanta over to Baltimore under.
Yeah, Detroit under. Packers
Detroit's right around the number. And I was looking at these numbers. Last year when we looked at this, there were 12.5s, and that this is so right down the 8 stripe for most of the teams. As you said, where's the dominance?
And I think it's in Atlanta. New Orleans' defense is still brutal. Green Bay's defense is brutal.
Carolina picks up every running back on the planet and then doesn't run them.
Okay. I finally found the team with the shit-ass receivers. It's Houston. They have Andre Johnson, and then everybody is third year or less. They have 5 rookies on the roster at wideout right now.
Wow.
And a second-year guy, third-year guy, Andre Johnson. That's it. But I know, I'm not going there either. I finally fucking figured it out. I did have it down in my notes.
Oh.
Need receivers.
Okay, so the problem is you got to organize your notes a little more clearly.
Did I do if I would have just looked down my notes? I just wrote them beside the teams on the sheet I printed out with the over-under numbers on it. Yeah, that's fucking brilliant. Yeah, and Marlon will have a new co-host next week. You didn't take the third strike. I will be found swinging from a beam in the basement from my belt.
You just kept fouling those balls off behind you.
Oh, I'm an idiot. Yes, I am.
That was just the overall excitement of gambling.
Okay, so we're going Atlanta. Over $5 pays 10. Want to parlay that with Dallas?
One, they don't allow us to. We tried that last year on the over-unders, but 2, no.
Okay, we're biting the Dallas wiener again. $5 pays $17.25. Our biggest bet. Our biggest potential payout.
They just lure us in with the boys. I don't know why, but I like cheering for Romo. So,
as do I. I don't know why. I don't know why I have such a hard on for Dallas, but they have so much talent. One of these years it has to come together. Like receivers, they're loaded. Defense, they have tons of talent.
They've got injury-prone running backs, but they should have enough bodies they can plug that in.
You would hope. Just some consistency. If they go 500 in the division, they should win that division. Just 500, 3-3. Win your home games in division. You should be all right.
Yeah, my fear there is the Giants, but I still like the bet. And like I said, for whatever reason, I just like cheering for Romo. maybe because
so much.
Last year he was like the 5th most hated man in sports, and I just thought, what the fuck did he ever do?
Well,
to be hated, it just killed me.
Well, then the cynic would say nothing. That's why he's hated.
you don't hate for nothing. You hate. There's plenty of evil out there that you can hate for.
No, but
you can be disappointed in, but
no, but he got hated when he went to fucking Mexico with Jessica Simpson and all this other crap. Is when it started.
Hey,
the whole.
I don't know if the story is true, but I personally admire him for dumping her at a pancake joint and leaving her there without a ride. That just put him up in my estimation.
That's hilarious. I'd never heard that.
But
that's
all
fun.
right.
All right. So
just coming up on an hour, I think.
Okay, perfect. So cut it off here. If you want to check out our podcast, you can find us on iTunes. Just search Offensive Lines, or you can listen to it directly on our website, offensivelines.ca. Follow us on Twitter @OffensiveLines, or go to facebook.com/offensive lines. And if you want to shoot us an email, it's offensivelines@shaw.ca. I'm Boyd.
I'm Marlon. Gambling's back.
Generous fucking gambler.